Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings, guys. So today is 5:29. We're middle of the week. We had solid day today, guys. I mean, we were so today was a lot of plays because of the earnings season, and we were mostly done in the morning. But anyways, just let's do a quick introduction before I go further in the plays. All right, guys. Anybody who's new to me, new to my Twitter, new to my new follower on YouTube, or new to my community, these recaps and these teachings are from the trades that I take or either I don't take, but I guide my community, guide my followers, any ideas, swing trade, day trade, or investment that I share on the Twitter, share on YouTube, or I share on in my community. So these ideas are based upon that. We talk about how because we don't trade random, we have a fixed setups. I have a fixed system that thousands of traders across the world use. I have fixed number of setups that I trade day in day out, and that's what we do every day. So every day in the morning my team creates a watch list, a game plan. We create the levels. So these are the levels every day, the support and resistance pivots. You can pause the screen and understand how to use them. The pivot is any point over which the price tends to move. This really helps on certain breakouts. For example, it was pretty good for us on Netflix breakout today. So we'll talk about that. In addition to that, we also share my strategy called Day 2, Day 3 strategy. I did a free webinar on this, and we have these plays as well. Anything that triggers on this strategy, we try to take that trade. If I see something, I share with the community. We also have crypto levels in the community. If you're trading coin, MSTR, then we have our game plan for the day, which is our main plan for trading for the day. Today, this we had CAVA, AAP, CHWY, American Airlines, ANF, DKS, ASTS. Most of the plays, earning plays, were spot on the way we planned, and most of them were the winners for us. So we will review them as well. There were a bunch of upgrades, and we had those on our watch list as well. So this was our game plan, and then I go on the voice first few hours in the market open, guiding my community through what is long, what is short. If I'm taking some trade, I share that I'm doing this. Even if I'm not taking a trade, I still guide the community that which can be a good long, which is a risk, which is a reward, and whatever the price target. So we will review all that and see how we did. And that being said, let's start with the first play of the day. The first play we're going to discuss is CHWY. So let's see how we did in CHWY, the big winner for us all day. So let's go back and let's look at the game plan. What was the game plan for CHWY this morning? So let's see. So game plan on CHWY was watch out short if 1860 breaks, right? Breakout is over 20 bucks, right? So these were our levels: 1860, 1780, and resistance pivot was say 20. So they had authorized a share purchase program, which is always bullish, but we keep our bias open in the pre-market. So as soon as the market opened, I saw the strength that they were holding the 512 EMA clouds. Guys, I covered these setups in detail in a lot of my videos, my recaps on my free, free education on Twitter. But I do have detailed, in-depth webinars on my community. If you want to watch it, join the community. But anyways, you can see that it's been flagging in the pre-market and it's holding the 512 clouds. When I saw this, that's why I said on the voice to everyone, long CHWY. It's a good long. Take the calls, 20 calls, 21, whatever you like. Take those calls and it should work nicely. And as soon as it started to break out, you see it breaking out of pre-market highs, and then it's breaking out of my 20 pivot that I gave in the pre-market. The calls started to move, and I was trading 20 calls, trading shares. I can show you in detail here, right? So you can see my time stamped long. We were at 26%, then it went on to hit 38%, then on with 55%, and then finally CHWY was 100% and 150% for me on a big trade. And the long from 1950, or even if you took later, it was $1.50 move, right? So our risk was what? Our risk was this area, right? This area was a risk because it's a pre-market candle support. This is the 512 EMA cloud support. We as a trader just need to identify our risk level, right? So once we identify a risk level, we can take that trade. And in this case, we took the trade on the options and the shares. The options are the ones which really paid us a lot on CHWY. And that's what I was talking about. If you were in op, because they were so cheap, the options were literally like 67 cents, and if you take in the option 67 cents, they went on to $2. That was a huge profit, right? If you were small account, you had $600 worth of that, and you made 2 grand. And if you had 1,000 worth dollar of the options, and then you made more than that. You made like 3 times that. So that is kind of risk reward. And if you got the shares long, you risked 50 cents, you made what did you made dollar 50. So 3 reward to 1 risk. So big winner in the community, guys. Everything timestamped, you can see that. And as you can see my recaps, let's move to the next one. So guys, next one from our watch list game plan was American Airlines. So what was the plan on American Airlines? Let's go back and take a look and see how did American Airlines work out for us. So American Airlines company lowered its EPS guidance, bearish to short the pops. That was already the plan in the pre-market. We had already made a plan, already had a bias. We were cautious if the cloud curls, then we were cautious. So we already had a bias on American Airlines. So let's see what happens. As soon as the market opens, I see that not only that, right? The American Airlines on a daily chart was breaking a long-term support. You can see here on a daily chart, it was breaking this long-term support. So when a support breaks on daily chart, we can always see lower. So I saw it breaking the pre-market pivot, the pre-market lows. That's when I told everybody short, watch pops, and you can trade the puts, 12 puts or whatever. And those American airline puts went on from 40% to 60%. They were for 30 cents, and they went on to be 100% for me. You can see here 30 cents to 62 cents, and there was a 100% trade. They even went in on to hit higher. So that another, again, these two trades were for a small account traders. 30 cents. There's some, it's and very liquid like penny stock. You can have, even if you added, let's say you added $1,000 worth, right? Small account, you still made $1,000 by the end of the day, right? If you're good account, you can easily have a good size in it. Let's say you have 2-3 grand and you made 2-3 grand, and you can of course short the shares. You short 10,000 5,000 shares, and you have risk of 10-20 cents worst case, and you flush it and you make good money. So that was the trade on American Airlines short. Here's everything is time stamped. A lot of my guidance is on the voice, so you won't see a lot of things I say that shorted the here and or do this, but just trying still to show you the guidance, no hindsight. And that was a big win for the community today. American Airlines short with the system, not blindly or random. Next one we're going to discuss is Dick's Sporting Good. Another one from our game plan today. The game plan was again, on the earning plays. It was 30. EPS beat by 35, and revenue was 3 billion, expecting 2.95 billion. Support was 208. Resistance was 204. I think I just moved it around. It's supposed to be 208 here, and the breakout was over 214. That's what I mentioned, everybody. If 512 breaks, can pull back to the sport cloud, and we'll see. We wait what it gives us. Is it giving us a short? Is it giving us a long? But it gave us a long, right? It broke out of the 214 pivot that I gave you guys in the pre-market in the community, and then it breaks out here, and that's why long over the pivots. And ideally most of the traders are already in, because I'm looking at a lot of other trades. I was in CHWY, I was in American Airlines, but as soon as I see browse, I make sure I let my traders know that it's a confirmed long, and it was confirmed long over the pivot at 9:35. I told everyone, and by 10 a.m. we hit 227. I gave 225 my first target to everyone. My second target was 230. It was a daily resistance, and we hit it and we came back. Now it's on a watch for tomorrow. If we break out of 230, we are going to run. So DKS is going to be a big day too for us. If you're watching this video, make sure you remember this. Very nice setup into tomorrow, especially if market is bullish. Big win, big win, almost $8-9 per share. You risk when you try to long this. Another thing I tell everyone, oh, I missed rip, I missed. If you miss, you can always do a starter, right? You can go to a smaller time frame and you can try to figure out where it's having a support. If you are morning trades, you have to be fast, right? This is a morning setup. This is the 9:30 a.m. setup, right? You don't have to be in every trade. If you're trading DKS, you need to see the breakout. You need to watch the tape. That will come from experience, right? That's what you're working on, to find these trades, to work on these trades. You don't have to go huge size. Just take few shares, 5 shares, 10 shares, 100 shares, whatever your account allows, which you can risk a small size. so that you can learn how to play these setups, right? So I can only do the guidance, but you can see how it moved almost $10 from 214 to 225, 228. Beautiful win, right in front of you. Even let's say you were blindly taking the trend because I was telling it, even then it was a good $6, $7, $8 profit, right? But it's not going to work all the time if you're just taking the trade blindly, oversizing. Next time a breakout fail, you're going to lose a lot of money. But anyways, DKS big win on the watch for tomorrow, and we were done with all these trades already in the morning. Let's look at the next one, the biggest trade of the day. The biggest trade of the day was ANF, Abercrombie and Fitch. So EPS beat was a little extended from the cloud, so I had a neutral to bullish bias. 160, 130 was my breakout pivot, and then I saw it breaking the pivot right here. And I was a little late, frankly. I was a little late. A lot of other traders were already in ANF, and then it's could scalp 1/3 size, 1/4 size. If I'm taking 10 contracts, I will just take 3 contracts so that if it pulls back, I can scale in. Again, the main trade was 9:30 to 10. Then we flag. Okay, let me show you to the 5 minutes chart. Then we flag on here. There's a support here. This is your risk, or you can have this cloud risk, right? Wherever this cloud is, if you're trying to long here, your risk will be somewhere here, 173s or something, right? So there's your risk. Or you long here, then your risk is 174, 175. This is another 10 a.m. flag setup that I cover in my webinars, and then you just stay long, right? If you're long from the earning, you actually add here. So you actually add there. So see, I gave the 180 target. My first target in the morning that I gave it was 180. This next target I gave was 188, 190, and then the final target I was giving was 195. We met all the targets. Every target that I gave met. This lotos went 400 to 500%. What is a lotto option? Lotto option is which has no chance to get in the money and which is very cheap. And let's see, like for example, when the morning started, you would have never thought that 180 or 190 would get in money by end of the day, and that's why they are priced very cheap. They're priced $1, $2. But guess what? They got in money, and the $2 became $8, or $2,000 became $8,000, and that's how the lotos work. And if you do not know what lotos is, please, please, please understand options. Stop trading right now. Understand everything that needs to be learned about options. Anyways, Abercrombie Fitch, guys, even if you traded shares from over the breakout, it was almost $20 to $30 per share profit. Even if you traded the flags, it was great profit. Here's my time-stamped guidance. Learn to trade them. If you are having hard time to trade them, chase them, just take small size. Who cares? Yes, small account, guys, you cannot, because you can only take lotos, but a regular trading account you can still trade 10 shares, 50 shares, 100 shares, 1,000 shares, whatever your account permits. So nice win, another winning trade from the game plan. All right, let's look at the next one quickly. So the next one we are going to look at is Apple. So Apple was a morning trade because Apple was breaking out of the levels I gave, 190, 70, 191. So these were two levels, and you see it was over the cloud. So when you see it over going the clouds, that's where you take it long. You put your 190 was your risk that I gave everyone, and then it was a nice dollar 50 push, for a morning 10 a.m. trade. So that was Apple in the morning for us. All right, guys, let's look at another one of our beautiful trade this morning was CAVA. CAVA. All right, so let's look at CAVA. So CAVA had an earnings EPS beat, sales beat, but it was bearish bias. So initially it was a bearish bias as clouds were rejecting. So you saw the levels that I gave here, right? Were there on that CAVA were. I did this mess up here, but the level on the CAVA was the resistance CAVA was 80. So as long as it was under 80, it was a short, and then it's still a short, and the target was 75. But it was a 10 a.m. short, right? From morning 78 to 75, $3 short. That's fine. But 10 a.m. the swipes start to come in. This is why I say take profits at 10 a.m. and then the real fun starts. Remember yesterday's video, CELH reversal trades. This is a morning reversal. I cover them in the webinars. This was the alert. CAVA crossing, close the short. It will push to 34.50 and push over 512s, 34.50, and all day long. And I gave the targets. Once you long here, your stops are here. You can long here, you can long here. Stops are here. All the time I have shown you real-time trades, but I was guiding my traders to the targets was 83, then 83 target met. It was holding the trend. I told everybody it's holding the trend, so keep the runners. And at the end of the day, it hit 89. Even if you were adding 80 over the purpose, you still made like $7-8. If you added at 76, this was a huge trade today. CAVA was great guidance by RGV. You can see all day on CAVA the traders were trading. RGV has nice average over 34.50 trade, and just a beautiful trade. Just a beautiful trade. Addy made 55%. Just a beautiful trade. Yes, we were short, but we don't remain short all day. You just get out, right? Get out here. Even if you lost here, ideally you should never short here. You should short here, and then you should get out and you cover and you hold the longs. That's how you change the buys, guys. This is how you change buys from long to short to long. Make money up and down both ways. Beautiful trade. Let's go to the next. Next, we're going to look at a couple of our day two trades. One was Zscaler and the other one was CrowdStrike, right? So they were bearish, but they turned bullish. So let's go to our day two, day three plan and see what were our levels. Zscaler 163.51, CrowdStrike 346.37. So both of them turned bullish over the clouds, and that's when you take long. You see that they are turning bullish. Your stops under the clouds, right, somewhere here. And same for CrowdStrike. And CrowdStrike ran from 347s to 353s. Zscaler ran from 163s or 162s, if you wherever you took it, to 166s, right? So ZS, there were opportunities in ZS, and there was opportunity in CrowdStrike. Good longs. I told everybody in the morning. So, and you get out when the 512 breaks. Not ready for the swing yet, but intraday they were really nice. Look at the 1 hour resistance here, hitting the 1 hour resistance. So that, my friends, was Zscaler and CrowdStrike. Netflix was a great call out by the traders on the floor. By our many traders on the floor were calling it out since morning. Vinod, by Vinod, and then Raga was on it. Netflix, why was on Netflix along today? Okay, let's go back. See the levels, 650, 652. See the chart. Breakout, right? Breakout. That was another daily breakout. So there was another daily breakout. So you trade that breakout on Netflix, long 650s, take profits $10 per share, done for the day. So the next one we're going to discuss is INSM. Just few day two plays that I'm going to discuss. One was INSM, and you see all day long. The other one was FUTU. So INSM and FUTU were our 2 day 2 longs. So let you see that, right, how they're turning over clouds and pushing. The only thing with FUTU was it was gapping down. INSM we discussed yesterday, never broke down, and it pushed, right, day 2 setup, repeatable setup, long over this pivot. And I gave the pivots on INSM 49, long over the pivot 49, and you trade nice $3-4 a day. Was a good profit there. Let's look at quickly a few other news plays. AAP was a short today. I told everybody to short the pops on AAP. AAP was a short. Let's see if I can find the ticker here. AAP, let's go back here in the game plan. So AAP was, here you go. Buys to short the pop, 65, 68, 50, 67, 50 was the resistance. You see the pop, you see the 512 rejections, and you short it. Was a nice fade. There was another one, a small low floater, which was a big win from the community. From the game plan today was ASTS. So ASTS neutral bias, the breakout was 650, 610, and as soon as it broke out of the 650 pivot I gave, it never really looked back. And there was a lot of flow. Vinod was continuously talking about the flow, and in our low floor channel, folks were all over the ASTS today, and trading ASTS. Look at the guidance by William, all day guidance on ASTS long since morning, right? So that was a beauty. That was a beautiful trade today on ASTS. And low floor, there was crazy amount of flow coming in on black box stocks. That gave added conviction to a lot of traders. Vinod was sharing it, and just a beautiful trade. Look at the daily breakout. Love it. I didn't catch it, but a lot of low floater traders made good on it. That's why we have this game plan. Follow the game plan, follow the levels. Beautiful trade. Another one that was good today was Bank of America. This is another one I personally didn't trade, but this was upgrade by Bank of America. You know how upgrades work, breaking the pivots over the clouds. That was another good long in community. A lot of traders were all over DELL, so that was a definitely good trade. On that, good guidance by Pajama Trader in the community. Very nice move on the DELL by Pajama Trader and few others.